And I'm going to record. Okay, it is being recorded. Sorry about that. Okay, so on the screen, you can see Ingwavuma. Now, this was a picture that was taken in the November 2020 StarLion journey. So during the meditation, I'm just going to ask you to either close your eyes or just rest them gently on the screen on Ingwavuma, who's the son of Lataba. So gently soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Feel your feet firmly on the ground, the connection, your connection to the earth. And take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. On your next in-breath, I want you to become aware of this beautiful golden light surrounding you with a rose tint. This represents the unconditional love of Mother Nature, and it is surrounding you at all times, the energy of Mother Nature. And now I'm asking you to breathe that rose gold light in. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out any heaviness, any anxiety, any worries that you may be carrying with you in this moment. And as it leaves you, it's transformed by that rose gold light into something that is light and beautiful, merging with that transformational energy of unconditional love. Keep breathing in that light and breathing out the heaviness, seeing it transformed. And now, as you breathe in, take your focus to your heart space and breathe that light into your heart, the center of your chest, your heart center, and feel it cleaning your heart space, filling your heart space, transforming any little molecules or atoms of anxiety, or worry, or fear, just for this moment, transforming it with the unconditional love of Mother Nature. And now, as your heart is being cleared and cleaned and filled, take your focus on your own love for nature and all her animals, all her beings, that unconditional love that you have for nature. Feel that merging with her love, with Mother Nature's love. And as it merges in your heart, start seeing it expand. And it expands from your heart center, creating a field that is shining out from your heart all around you. And as it's shining out, it expands throughout your body. And you feel all the cells in your body tingling as this energy of love moves through you. And now feel it expanding even more beyond the confines of your physical body into the environment that you're sitting in. And as it expands, beyond the borders, the confines, the boundaries. It expands further and further into nature, into the earth, above you, below you, around you, connecting you with all that is. And as it expands, we feel this beautiful warmth, this safe, warm feeling where we've created this space to share information, to learn more about the heartlands, the messages of the white lions. We invite nature to participate in this meeting, to hold us in safety, to connect us all around the world with our heart connection. Just take a moment to feel that ground beneath your feet and your solid connection to the earth. And we feel the energy of Africa and the lions with us. Start becoming aware of your breath. And keep that field of unconditional love around you as you become aware of your physical body and you step back into the room with us all as we start this gathering. Okay, everyone, let's put my video on again. Thank you. I know there were a few people waiting in the waiting room, so if you missed that meditation, don't worry, just feel yourself connected to the ground and just take a moment to put your hand over your heart to feel the heart connection as we move in to the session. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. The lovely Ingwavuma, who's taken his father Lataba's space on the lands of Mbube. Okay, so I first want to share with you the intentions for the StarLion journeys, whether they're in person or whether they're virtual. And since the beginning of 2020, there haven't been any in-person ones. So really, while we are together on the lands, the intentions for the journey is to attune yourself with the energy of the lands, the lions, and all beings of nature. And of course, the people as well as the land and the lions and nature. We are part of nature. For this particular journey, I want to show people how to become more familiar with interspecies communication and that direct, intentional nature communication. So in our previous journeys, we've been very specific that people need to have experience in animal communication, interspecies communication. We do ask you to be a little bit familiar with the interspecies communication, but we're offering you tools to help you with that before the journey. And part of this journey in the workshop space is going to be becoming familiar with how you receive information. And through all that, we're going to really engage with a heartstorm with Mother Nature, to receive information directly from her, to find out how we can assist nature and the earth and our beautiful home at this time. We find out how we can take action, how we can start manifesting positive transformation. And we talk and we work a little bit with sacred action and putting our love into action. So those are all the intentions that I personally have set for each journey that I take people on. So just a little bit of background how the virtual journeys actually started. As you know, the beginning of lockdown, March 2020, I actually had an in-person journey planned for May that year, and of course, it wasn't going to happen. So I started asking nature, asking the lions how I could support them through this time where people would not be coming to the lands to support them, to the donations that are received when people come to visit are literally the bread and butter of the project, just to keep things going, you know, to keep the funding of the making sure the lines are secure, paying the salaries for all the people that help manage the project, and just everything that goes into running this incredible space that the lions hold. And what came to me were these virtual journeys. You know, you've seen webcams of African bush visits. And I thought, how is it possible? How could it be possible? Because, of course, the Wi-Fi isn't very good up there. So the technology for live web streaming in the bush would not be possible. And then it just came to me, what about just taking video footage of the actual drive, of actually us being in the vehicle in silence, stopping for all the animals that we come across, listening to them, and then sharing that with the participants. And although it's not in absolute real time, the bush drives that we show you, it is within a couple of days. So each day we go out there before the actual journey, and we film whatever comes to us. So it is as real as we can possibly be. And so the first one happened in July of 2020, and we didn't know if it was going to work or not. And we had 20 pioneering participants, and it was incredible how well it worked. And I'm going to ask Eleni a little bit later to share her experience of it, just to show you how well it actually did work. Okay. So just about where the actual heartlands are on the map to orientate you. So you can see Tsao Conservancy has a map of Southern Africa, South Africa. Tsao Conservancy is the big red dot in the north of South Africa. And I am based where that little, at the moment, Simon and I are based where that little dolphin icon is, in a place called Wilderness in South Africa. But at the original journey took place with us traveling overland from Cape Town to Tsao. So we actually drove all that way because, of course, we couldn't even fly then. So it was a real journey from start to finish. Just going back to that map, there's a zooming in of where the Tsao Conservancy is. The mark isn't there, but you see that golden line there? That is the Nile Meridian that falls on where the Tsao Conservancy rests, with the Kruger Park to the right and the Greater Kruger actually smack in the middle. And here on the bigger map is the Nile meridian, which Linda Tucker identified as this place of sacred sites around Africa along this particular meridian. And she goes into learn a lot more about that on the actual journey. And you can see Timbavati is right there, and that's where the conservancy is, 24 degrees south. On the 20th of January 2020, just before lockdown, Linda was at the World Economic Forum in Davos, and she announced the Asagaya Declaration of Sacred Natural Sites. And one of the sacred sites that was identified was the Heartlands, where our virtual journey takes place. The picture below is a space where the home of Linda, a little cottage where she lived, overseeing the entire project, was struck by lightning just before her traveling to Davos. And rather than using insurance money to build a new home for herself, she realized the significance of this lightning strike, which you'll probably learn about those details later as well. But it was incredible that that cottage burned to the ground, but nothing else was touched. You can see these trees that were surrounding the cottage were not burnt at all. So in the place, Linda was given guidance that a sacred circle to Mother Nature needed to be constructed. And she had rescued these monolithic giants of crystals from being crushed that lay along the Nile meridian. And this is what their purpose was for. And I'm going to share with you this space of the circle, the sacred temple, if you want to call it, halfway in construction. And here you see the artist Andries Botha, who designed it. You see the sangomas, the medicine women here, blessing the site. And then some of the staff, Chris, who's the building manager, Sibusiso, who's the manager in the south where Ngwavuma lives. And this was just one little moment in the construction of the sacred space. So going on to the sort of practical things of what you need to do to prepare for this journey. So the journey runs from the 25th to the 28th of March, and it starts in the afternoon of the 25th. But our suggestion, and I think it is vital that you actually clear those full 4 days. So from the morning of the 25th to the 28th of March, the end of Monday. So it's from the Friday to the Monday. Clear that so that you have space and that you're not going to be disturbed by anyone or anything, so that you have time to really connect with the lands and with the work that we're going to be doing. It's important to find a quiet, sacred space of your own, to be aware of the time difference in the time zones. And it was really interesting because many of the people that have attended the journeys have been, almost 12 hours, some spaces, behind us in line time. So they've literally needed to swap their clocks around. And some weren't sure if they'd be able to do it, but they did. And, whether it was getting up at midnight in order to take part in the bush drives that are 6 o'clock lion time, it worked, and you are able to adjust. It's important for you to have nature time, so your own space. It's wonderful if you have a little quiet space in your garden. If you live in the city, just find a little space that you can perhaps go to during the day. And to connect with your own nature where you are, as well as the African nature. Meals, what part of the offering is the beautiful recipes that Enolani, our chef at Camp Unicorn, prepares. So we'll be giving you the recipes that you can create in your own time. And you may not be able, we may not all be eating together the same, when some people are having breakfast, you might be having dinner, but the energy of those meals, if you can prepare some of them, or if someone who's with you who can support you prepare them, that's just an added beautiful thing to make your journey as beautiful as possible. On a very practical level, the technology that you have needs to be the bandwidth needs to be fairly good, and because we are connecting from the boat, our bandwidth is always, it's often a bit dicey, but it's always been perfect during our StarLion journeys. There's obviously greater guidance in time, but as long as you have a decent Wi-Fi connection, you will be watching the bush drives on with a YouTube link. So you won't be online with all of us while you're watching, because that disturbs the quality of the video. It's just some very practical information. So going back to this picture here, this is where we sometimes will hold the bits, which is in the middle of lion territories, and it's not always available to us because when the lions are roaming, we can't get access easily to it because you need to get out of the vehicles to get up there. So sometimes the workshops, this is a screenshot from I think our November 2020 journey, where we did our closing meditations in the camp with the fire. So you get a real feel for where we are on a physical level. So again, practically how your time is spent. The first day, which is a Friday, we do a welcome and an intention setting with Linda and myself, and that is normally around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is Central African time, which we call Lion time. Day 2 and 3, we get up we meet and gather on Zoom at 6 o'clock. I then share with you the link for the bush drive. You spend probably up to an hour. Sometimes it's not as long as an hour, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on how and who we saw during that time. So we can't predict what you're going to see. And then during the day, you have time to journal and to connect with the others in your own time offline. And in the afternoons, we gather again together from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the evening for workshops, meditations, sharing. And then we end that time together. So the actual time online is not overwhelming, because I know people can get overwhelmed by the actual Zoom time online. So we've made it work with as little focused online time as possible. Day 4, again, we have, that's the Monday, we have again another bush visit at 6 o'clock in the morning, lion time. And then the afternoon gathering, and we have a beautiful closing with Linda and the lions. Okay. Here we have a dedicated community forum for what we call the Heart Pride, the StarLion Heart Pride, where you have all your resources, all the information you need during the journey, and you have access to that before the journey as well. As soon as you book, really, I set it up. You have all the resources, you have the links, the maps, any meditations that are recorded, messages from nature where you can share whatever you have received, and where you can chat with your fellow Pride members. Okay. And this little map just shows all the past participants of the 3 journeys that we've had so far. And as you can see, they are mostly from the States and from Europe, not many people from Australia or from South America. And I suspect that's probably because of the very, very difficult time zones. But that you can still make it work if you are from those climes or from those time zones. It's just lovely to see all these people connecting all over the world. A little bit about the heart method, and those of you that have been following me for a while will become familiar with this method that I've developed, heart energy achieving real transformation. If you are not familiar with it, or you are not, or you feel you're not very experienced with animal communication and you'd like to know more about it, this introduction to animal communication and heart mini course, which I ran last year, there are 2 webinars in it, and then there's a whole lot of information that you can go through, written information and meditations, recorded meditations, audio courses as well in the course, audio material. And this you will get free when you register for the StarLion journey. And I recommend, if you didn't participate in the live one last year, that you do so. And even if you did participate, just you can remind yourself by watching the replay and just by going through the coursework as well. And this is an added gift when you register for the StarLion journey. The heart energy achieving real transformation is when we connect with either a particular subject of nature, so an individual animal or an individual tree or body of water, to receive information about what is needed, or what does the positive transformation look like? What could it look like? And we work with asking what physical actions we can take, and we also work with visualizations. So actual positive visualization to help manifest the end result, the best possible result. And the people that have attended the past virtual StarLion journeys, those who have committed to doing this work a bit further, we come together once a month and we work on aspects that need transformation. And so once you have done this virtual, and this is the work that we're going to be doing on the journey, even though it's only 4 days as opposed to the past 6 days, we will be doing that work and we can come together afterwards to continue the work. One of the beautiful outcomes of the Heart Pride's work from the end of 2020 was working with these 2 formidable lionesses, Alpha and Omega, and through them, who they needed rescuing because they were part of the Walking with Lions tours, and a tragic accident happened where their person who was walking with them was killed, and they needed sanctuary. And at the time, Linda gave temporary sanctuary to them, and through the heart work and the Sacred and Wild campaign that we've developed, Linda has been able to give them permanent sanctuary. So they are now living in harmony in their own enclosure, but you'll learn more about them if you attend this journey. And it's largely through the work of the Heart Pride that we've been able to support them in their space, not just practically, physically, financially, but also spiritually and energetically with the heart work. So that is one of just many things that the Heart Pride, I feel, has achieved since July 2020. Going on to the practical side of donations requested, this is a requested donation, which really helps cover the costs and makes a difference. So it's £300, $400, 6,000 Rand. And this is a donation. So if you can give a bit more, that's wonderful. If you feel you can't give as much, there's other options. We didn't want a financial hurdle to stop you from participating if you really, really feel called to. So we can always make a plan. There are payment plans available. And then if you email us, we can also discuss other ways of support. So please don't let that be a block to you joining. This is just, I took a collage of the people and the animal people that support in the camp on the project. And there's Mama Weena on the left, and that beautiful photo was taken by Eleni, I think. So thank you, Eleni. Mama Weena has been with the project from the very beginning. She was with the people that Linda bought the land from. And she is just always looking after everyone. Inalani is this beautiful lady in the middle here. She's our chef, creates those wonderful recipes for you. Here's Asnat and Tanika. You can't really see them, but they're hard at work in the kitchen. Champs and Chris are two of the managers of the land. Ruben is our guide, who you'll meet. This photo in the corner is Linda and the field workers, which are often the ladies that do the work in the kitchen when there's guests. And of course, Gorgeous, our cat person, and Madash, our dog person, who is the sort of guest liaison officer, I think. He's a meet and greet. And really, these two domestic animals hold the space so beautifully. For the virtual participants and the actual people who are there working on the ground so hard for them and for the lions. Okay, so I feel like I've been talking, so I'd love to open it up for questions. You can unmute yourselves. I'm going to stop the share for now. And you can put your cameras on as well. Or you can type in the chat if you don't want to speak. Okay. Eleni, while people are thinking or typing, can you share a little bit about your experience? Because you were one of the first virtual journey participants.
Sure, I'd be happy to. In the beginning, when I first participated in the July one, June, I don't even remember. It was more of an inner calling to even virtually go back and remember what it was physically like. But I realized even from the first day that I didn't have to remember, because there were so many new things happening, so many new experiences, new animals, new messages, and a different and a new kind of welcome. And so it just made it extremely unique on its own. So it felt in the beginning for me that it's like, middle ground kind of a thing. Oh, I can't go, so this will be good enough. But it was more than good enough. It was just, for me, it was absolutely amazing and perfect, especially during those first few months where everything was completely new to the world, I don't want to say the new world, but to the world at the time. And many of us were probably feeling isolated or constricted from movement in any way. It was absolutely liberating. And I remember that during the meditations, smells came back, and smell is like such an incredibly strong remembrance for the body and all the other senses as well. So I could smell rain on the African soil, and I could hear surround sound, the animals calling, not just coming from the speaker of the phone or of the laptop. I was truly there. I was transported. And clearly it is the calling of nature and the animals who help us achieve that transportation. And also your meditations and your guidance, yours and Linda's. I mean, it was so easy. And needless to say, I mean, watching those videos just a few hours after they were taken and knowing that this just happened and I am here right now experiencing this, seeing this baby breastfeeding, or hearing this bird and watching those lions. And thank you, Simon. I mean, everything was fantastic. The videos were amazing, the sounds were amazing, the smells were, I don't know how you guys did that, but I got smells as well. So
New technology.
absolutely. Nature's technology. And it was empowering. It was empowering, and it still is, and I'm still coming. So it's empowering during challenging times to remember these connections and the guidance from sacred beings. I mean, all beings are sacred, but those white lions are just a little bit more. So it's important to get back to that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I could just remember you being there in that time as you were speaking. So
Thank you. Thank you. It was wonderful.
Simon, would you like to say something? Thank you.
Thank you, Wynter. I just want to build on what Eleni was saying, because under the old paradigm, as we were at 2 years ago, the people attending these physical journeys would have packed their bag and they would have found some car or train or airplane to transport themselves, perhaps across time zones to get physically to there. Then they would have had to turn their computers and their phones off and just experience. They would have got up at 6 o'clock for game drives. They would have done workshopping during the day, communicated with their fellow travelers and participants, done another drive in the evening. And the whole idea was to replicate that. And we would encourage, and I know I'm repeating myself, and Eleni, you've heard this before, and Tanya was also on the journey, and Janine has heard it, but if it's possible to get the full benefit of the experience and to offer yourself to the natural world as much as possible, try to imagine yourself packing a suitcase and getting away from your current experience and existence. There were even people who had the luxury of actually going to an Airbnb and doing it all on a computer for that period of time, weren't there? Just so that they didn't have the postman calling, the phone calling, the news on the television. They didn't have husbands or wives or children. And to immerse yourself into that experience, it was so much more beneficial for the individual, but also I'm sure for the animals as well. So that's what we tried to create, and all the feedback was it was created, but it was actually all created by the animals who showed up for us on the video. So just hopefully take that into account and try to prepare yourself, as some of the points that Wynter had said, for the journey, because it's so worthwhile if you can do that. Not to say that if you're in the middle of a city and you can't get away and you've got to work the next day or on that day, you can get a lot of the good experience, but give yourself a break and try to do the whole 4 days with as little interruption as possible. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Simon. You know, it is important to be as committed as possible, and what I have found, and what everyone else has found, is people feel that they perhaps can't clear their schedule, but somehow it is possible to clear your schedule. Sammy, I see that you've just saying that you're unable to completely clear your schedule. I would say try as much as you possibly can, and then, see how it goes. As long as you attend every session, I would say, and give yourself time during the day, I would say it would be okay, but it's best if you can clear everything. But to be committed in your heart, and when you're committed in your heart and you ask the lions for assistance, and nature for assistance, I think you will be surprised at how much clears for you. So just, I don't know if that answers your question very firmly, but we can chat about it later if you feel the need to explain a bit more. Okay.
May
Then
I?
Anna. Yes, Anna, thank you.
I'm so enthusiastic to see and hear that, because in my youth I dreamed to go to the wild and to live in with the animals, the bears, the lions, and everybody. So it's like, to me now, be here, it's like my heart, it's like that. And I saw the eyes of the lions you put there. I was like that. So it was so strong that I really think it's so beautiful, that idea. And I really believe that, like Eleni told, I can't believe it. I can't believe it that it's like that, and I want it. And because yes, it's very beautiful, the idea, and I'm very happy. I just need to talk you privately with you, but because of money, it's only my question.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's fine. We can always work around that. Thank you. And I think it's that calling and the commitment, because you are, this journey, it is one to support the Lions. I mean, the monies that are brought in go directly to the Lions. We manage to cover our costs, but everything else goes to the Lions and the project and the people. So, but it's also about the spiritual connection and the heart work that we do when we're in alignment. That's one of Linda's word, alignment, with this sacred space and sacred sites. We are of tremendous benefit for the work on a global level. So, that calling is as important as the donation, I feel, anyway. Okay. If anybody wants to, I'll put up the email address and the booking form information just now. But if anybody wants to talk to me, email me directly, just email me winter@animaltalkafrica.co.za.
Hi, Wynter. Can I just say,
Yes.
I know I haven't joined you yet on one of these, so this was going to be my first one. I'm very excited. I just wanted to say that when you showed the picture of the tree house, and I think it's because of the intention of what we're doing. I've seen many pictures of the tree house. I've obviously been to the Lions many times, and I've seen pictures of the tree house many times, but because this is setting the intention of being there virtually, when I saw the picture of the tree house, I burst into tears. And I've never done that before, but I've had the most magical experiences there. So it is, as Eleni said, it's like I'm suddenly back there. There is something about setting the intention. And I have done several online virtual meditation retreats before with Leslie Temple Thurston, and they've been some of the most profound experiences of my life. So I know that doing something virtually is the same as actually physically being there. So I just wanted to share that. Is there a limit on how many people join?
So we've discussed that there's always been a limit of 20 people, as that was it seemed to be the ideal amount of people on our first journey. We had 20, there were 20 of us, or 20 plus me and Simon. If there's a little bit more, I think we can handle it, because we've done, we've kind of refined the programming, but 20 is a good number. And I think if we don't get 10, we might have to postpone, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get 10, seeing we will definitely get 10. And so, yeah, no limit as such. But we might struggle if we get 100 for this one. It'll just look differently, but we'll still do all the same thing. But sometimes, you know, the more people entering this field with the right intentions, the better. So, but I know the right people always, you know, not that there's right or wrong people, but people who are meant to be there are there at the time. So, yeah, it's all about divine timing for everyone, for the lions, for you, for us, to make it a beautiful journey. Okay, I'm just reading a question here, Lisa. Oh, thank you, Lisa. You feel very drawn. Great. Well, everything is possible in this new world. As yeah, it is a new world, Eleni. I really definitely feel it's a new world. Okay. All right. So let me just, if there's nothing else, I'm going to just share the screen one more time, and then I'd like to lead you into this heart meditation with beloved Mara. I'm just checking that there's no other questions. No. Okay. So before we go on to go into the heart meditation, for more information, if you go to starlionjourneys.org, and then that will give you an overview of all the Starline journeys, and then go to upcoming journeys, and you can download the full itinerary for March. On that webpage, there's also a link to the booking form, which is a Google form. And then you can also email us. If the Google form's too much for you, we can email you the booking forms. We also would need to email you just some code of conduct and indemnity forms to sign, because we do ask you to sign up, because you do have access to sometimes very sensitive information. You know, because we don't know what's going to be going on with the lions, and it's not always for public consumption. So we do ask you to hold a very sacred, safe space during this journey. And maybe I didn't explain that before during the presentation, and you can always email me, winter@animaltalkafrica.co.za. I see Eleni, thank you for posting that on the chat. Okay. All right, so let us begin. I'm going to switch my video off so that you're not distracted by me. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. So here is a picture of beloved Mara, Ma of Ra, the founding lioness, who was born on Christmas Day in a place called Bethlehem. And she was the sacred lioness that was prophesied by the African elders, the African shamans, who would lead the white lions back into freedom. When she was born, the white lions were technically extinct in the wild, and they were only being born in captivity. So as you gaze into that intense yet loving stare of Mara, I asked you to once again feel your feet firmly on the ground. You can either close your eyes or just rest them gently on Mara's eyes. Become aware of that beautiful light of Mother Nature, of her unconditional love, that warm rose golden light that is surrounding you. Take your focus to your breath as you breathe that light into your heart, into your heart center. Feel that light filling your heart space, merging with your own unconditional love for all of nature, for all of nature's beings. And feel that energy of unconditional love clearing and cleaning your heart space, filling it and expanding from it. That rose gold light shining out from your heart, creating this field of unconditional love. This is the field of connection, of communication. It is through this energy field that you receive intuitive guidance from Mother Nature herself. As you focus on this energy, expand it, expand that heart energy beyond your physical heart, beyond your physical body, and feel yourself connecting to the nature that is surrounding you at this time, to your environment, whether it is a blade of grass, a tree in the park, whether it is the pine forests or the acacia forests of Africa, or whether it's a body of water near you, the oceans. Feel your heart connecting to that nature that resonates the most with you. A peaceful meadow, wildflowers and butterflies. Sense that nature within your heart. And as we feel that connection with Mother Nature, we know there is no separation. We are one with her. We are nature. Feel your physical connection to the earth. Feel at one with the earth. And as you become still in this space, ask the question, how best may I serve you at this moment in time? And I'm going to give you just a short minute or two to be in stillness. Become aware of your feelings, any images in your mind, any smells, any sounds, as you listen with your heart. As you start focusing on your breath, place your hands over your physical heart space and set your intentions for the rest of the day, whether you're in the evening or the morning or the night, to keep your heart open as you are grounded on this earth, as you move through the day, doing what you need to do. Ask that you be guided by nature in every way. Ask that you are open-hearted enough to listen to that guidance and to be able to act on it. Know that the space of unconditional love will guide you on a true path, supporting nature and supporting your truth to be who and what you need to be in this lifetime, on this planet, at this time. Feel the gratitude of being able to have this beautiful connection. As you become aware of your physical body, your feet connected to the ground, the seat beneath you, and as you slowly open your eyes to come back into the room with us. Thank you, everybody. Start my video again. I'll just, before we go, just in case anybody forgot those, didn't take down the contact details, bookings at StarLion Journeys. And I can just put in the chat. And if there are any other questions before we go, I'm going to let you stay in that beautiful heart space. Yeah. Hold on, let me just put my email address up again. So it's there in the chat. And I look forward to hearing from everyone soon. I really, really hope as many of you as possible can join. Okay. Thank you, everybody. With so much love and many, many blessings. Thank you. See you soon.